So, with some airlines limiting flights now, but more states reopening, people are thinking through the idea about possibly summer vacations. I guess the question is, what would it take for people to feel comfortable taking those trips? Jennifer Bellamy joins us. Jennifer, I know some airlines are offering masks to people, but there's still a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, a lot, Cheryl. And we already know that the travel and vacation industries have taken a big hit with the coronavirus pandemic. And now, at a time when people would be thinking about looking forward to those summer vacations, many have been postponed or canceled altogether.
Prices are low and planes are empty, but that's not pushing folks to head out on a trip. According to a recent Harris poll, 51% of Americans have called off or put off their travel plans because of coronavirus concerns. 49% said they'd be ready to fly 6 months after the government said the virus is subsiding. FlightStat says since the end of March, U.S. airlines canceled nearly 220,000 flights nationwide, and nearly 50,000 have been canceled in Europe. And passengers aren't the only ones concerned. The Allied Pilots Association has called for tougher measures from the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA. The group wants to see temperature scans and safety gear for crew members, like masks and gloves, saying it will help give travelers more confidence. Still, at least for now, experts advise holding off on that trip. The CDC says all non-essential international travel should be avoided. And back at the end of March, the State Department raised the global travel advisory to its highest level, 4, do not travel. Travel pros say the international travel market will take longer to bounce back as people are uneasy about flying, and other countries may not reopen their borders right away. Many expect regional travel within the United States will come back first as people are anxious to get out and may seek drivable destinations or outdoor locations to visit.
And if you do plan to travel anytime soon, experts say that you should think long and hard about where you plan to stay and that location's cleanliness. They also say you should consider your ability to practice social distancing while away.